Welcome to Paranormal Stories Part 10. In this video, I'm going to share the second visitation I had from Archangel Michael. And for your convenience, I've created a new playlist called Supernatural Stories if you'd like to binge watch. So, this experience took place 1 year after the first time I ever met Archangel Michael. And that's when he appeared to me and prevented me from doing what I was about to do. And until that day that I met Michael, I didn't really know anything about him. But after he came to me like that, I was just like nonstop talking to him, like, let me hear you, Michael, or give me a sign or something like that, right? And a year went by, and I was starting to feel like I was abandoned. I was like, why is the only time you're willing to communicate with me, when things got to get to that point? And at this point in my life, I had started using plant medicine to help open up my heart and heal. And what I found was that when I took a certain plant medicine, it tapped me into the spirit realm like no other. And one time I came across a video where this guy was talking about this certain plant medicine and how your intention before taking it is of the utmost importance. I also learned that the first time I started using it with a shaman. It was all about the intention. Every time I've done a plant medicine journey, my number one intention is to open up my heart in a way that has a permanent and long lasting effect. And even though I haven't used plant medicines since 2022, from 2015 to 2022, I was heavily involved in that community. So once I came across this video, I just said to myself, I'm like, that's it. I said, I'm going to do a ceremony. I'm going to go into meditation, and I'm going to set the intention that Archangel Michael is going to communicate with me. And I came up with this idea on like a Monday or a Sunday, and I planned for it to happen on the Friday. Every day throughout the day, I was like, see ya Friday, Michael. See ya Friday, Michael. Can't wait to hear from you on Friday, Michael. And I really didn't have any idea what to expect, right? So Friday night comes along, I do the family thing. My wife's got my boy. I go into the garage, I go into my meditation, do my thing. And about 45 minutes into meditation, I had this setup in front of me with this large quartz crystal. And because I had palm trees in my backyard, I had to clip some of the leaves. So I spread them all around, and I had this quartz crystal in the middle. And about 45 minutes into meditation, I'm like just out in space having like an out of body experience. I'm guided to open up my eyes. So it took me a while to come back to my body, but when I opened up my eyes, this quartz crystal right in front of me from head to toe had Archangel Michael glowing white, and he was like in a marching pose, obviously not moving anywhere. At first, I couldn't believe my eyes. There were so many things that caught me off guard. First of all, he had this magnificent flowing hair that went down his back, and it was so energetically charged that it was very hard to take my eyes off of it. But then I found his wings had the exact same magnetism to them. Once I looked at his wings, it was almost game over. It was like all I could look at. They were magnificent, like flowed above his head and below his feet. His wings were much larger than I ever seen in any pictures, and he also looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like he was jacked. And the one thing that I found interesting was that he was holding his sword in his left hand, and he had a round shield in his right hand, which tells me that there's such a thing as left and right hand in the spirit realm. So I'm just looking at this, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, am I actually seeing this? And I rub my eyes, and as this is going on, Archangel Michael's walking. This crystal sends this pulse wave that hit my ears that was so powerful and painful that I actually thought my eardrums burst. And the weird thing was, is energetically I could feel my ears vibrating. And so I just thought, okay, I'm not gonna question that again. And after watching Archangel Michael in this walking pose, all of a sudden his wings started folding all around his body. And when he did that, I was sitting in my chair. I just collapsed. My chest went into my knees. My hands were on the ground. My my cheeks were on my knee, And it was like every single cell in my body was so blissed out that I couldn't even move, and I just sat there with the biggest smile on my face. And it was because when Archangel Michael folded his wings around, he was sending me all this golden Christ conscious energy, and it just hit me, and it was like euphoria town. And I don't know how much time went by, but eventually I was able to like muster the energy to lift my chest off of my knees. And to my surprise, he's still marching there. Next thing I know, his wings fold around. I collapse once again in my knees. Same thing, time goes by. I sit up and I'm just like, what the heck? I was expecting him to be gone. He's still there. Wings fold around for a third time. I collapse. By the time I get up, this time I look and he was gone. But this was quite an amazing experience. My second visitation from Archangel Michael.